Hi, the date is the 15th of July, 2026, and for this video I want to talk about how I'm navigating not having any motivation, because over the past week or so previous week, I was just bed rotting, wasn't doing anything, smoking, just laying in bed, going to the grocery store, watching TV shows, and I was pretty much dopamine maxing. But now that I made the decision to rebuild a lot of the damage I did throughout then, I still have no motivation. The dopamine is still off and life becomes really miserable. So to counteract that, I will do things like scroll on my phone or eat unhealthy food. Not as much as I did when I was in that more, I guess you could say, degenerate state, but enough to keep me going throughout the day. And that also continues the zap of my motivation. So what I'm trying now is I'm trying the idea of do it anyway. Not particularly out of willpower. I wouldn't call it willpower. Like, for instance, how I'm making this video, I just kind of drove out and thought about what I was going to talk about a little bit, and then I just set it up and talked about it. It's like, I wouldn't call it willpower, I would call it more mindlessness, not thinking, because once you start thinking, our brains, they are orientated for survival. They would say, okay, I'll motivate you to go get food because you need food, but I won't motivate you to achieve your dreams because we don't have the dopamine to spare. Whereas with willpower, it's like, I don't want to do this. So you've already gone through that process of I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm talking more about I'm going to do this because when I was myself, when I did have motivation, when I did know what I want, this is what I wanted. So I'm going to keep doing it. I'm like going to barely even think about it. I'm just going to do it. And a big part of knowing what you want to do, going a little bit deeper, is what did you want as a kid? What did you want as a child? It's hard to perfectly recollect the memories, but I always love watching content on YouTube. And that was just always what appealed to me. And so we can visualize something, we can use our minds to internalize something. I could imagine myself as a successful YouTuber. I could imagine myself as someone who makes videos and gets in the same position of those people I looked up to. But I will never really know what it feels like until I start doing it. I can persuade myself not to do it. I can think I'll know what it's like, but you can never truly know what it's like. So I think that backs up the idea of just do it. You don't have to have willpower. You don't have to think about it. You just have to take action. And then watch the emotions that come after that. Because I was not doing anything, then I just took the mindless action, and after that I got the emotion of fulfillment. And when I was laying in my bed and imagining getting up and going and making a video or doing something else, I did not imagine any fulfillment. I did not imagine anything else. I just imagined doing it, and I imagined not wanting to do it. So you can't rely on your brain. You have to just take action, do now, think later. And that backs up the idea of our mind is a tool that we use to survive. And, You know, we imagine falling off the bridge, so we don't want to do that. We're like, oh, I could die if I fall off the bridge. I don't want to walk on that bridge. And that's a good survival mechanism. But when it comes to achieving what we want, like an underlying dream or something on the terms of that, we cannot rely on that mechanism because it won't want us to do that. It will want us to survive. And so we have to rely on taking the action. We have to rely on just doing it instead of relying on wanting to do it or thinking we should do it. The sandflies out here are killing me, and mosquitoes. But yeah, so that is something I'm implementing, and it has started to make a really big difference because no matter how much I imagine I didn't want something and I wouldn't be happy once I did it, once I actually did it, that changed a little bit. It gave me a different feeling, you know, not motivation, not anything else. It was like, I guess I would describe it as fulfillment. And yeah, so in terms of doing stuff without motivation, it's accepting the fact that your brain is wired for survival, and to get around that, you have to take the action and then see how you feel afterwards. But yeah, so that's a pretty simple topic. I thought it was worth going over, but yeah, that's kind of it for this video. Thanks for watching. That's the end of the video.